So our next lesson is going to be ratio and proportion. So it does go slightly off the triangles, but we'll jump back into it. So you have ratios. Ratios can be written in different ways. So you can write as 3 to 2. You can write it with the little semicolon right here in the middle. Or you can also write it as a fraction, 3 over 2. Okay, so those are the different ways that you can write ratios. A proportion is an equation stating two ratios are equal. Okay, so for example, here you have 9 over x equals 36 over 28. To solve for x, we got to cross multiply. So we do 9 times 28 equals, and then we move this x to the top with the 36, so 36x. Okay, so 9 times 28. 9 times 28 gives us 252 equals 36x. We go ahead and divide both sides by 36. This cancels, and that gives us 7 equals x. All right, the next one we do the same thing. We go ahead and cross multiply. So we're going to go ahead and move the 16 up here with the x. So 16x equals, we move the 32 up there with the 15. So 32 times 15. 32 times 15 gives us 480. And then we go ahead and divide both sides by 16 to solve for x. And we get x equals, I believe it's 30. But let me double check. Yeah. X equals 30. And then this next one, we go ahead and multiply. We multiply, we move the 7 to the top. So it'll be 24 times 7 equals, we move the 42 on the top of the x. 42 times x. So 24 times 7 gives us 168 equals 42x. We divide both sides by 42. This cancels. 168 divided by 42 gives us 4. All right. So on the next one, it says use proportions to solve the following problems. A painter is making a small version of the painting below. It will be proportional to the original painting. The original painting is 36 inches long and 30 inches wide. The smaller painting will be 4 inches wide. How long will the smaller painting be? So you're going to make your own proportion, okay? We have the big painting, and then we have the small painting. Okay, we also need to line up what we have here is the width or the length, because that's the bigger side. So we're going to have the length on top, and then we are going to have the height. Okay, so however you set this up does not matter. What matters is that you match it up exactly. So if you look at the big one, the height is 30 inches. So it goes on the bottom, and the height of the small one is 4 inches. Okay, the big one, the width is 36, or the length, sorry, is 36, and then this one is x, okay, on the small pane. So once we set that up, we go ahead and move the 4 up with the 36. That gives us, I write too big all the time, 36 times 4 equals, we move the 30 to the x, and that gives us 30x, and then we go ahead and multiply 36 times 4. That gives us 144 equals 30 times x. We go ahead and divide by 30. It's going to give us a decimal. It gives us 4.8 is equal to x. So that's the missing side. It's actually 4.8 inches would be the size of the small painting. Okay, the next one says the ratio of a dog park's length to width is 11 to 9. If the width of the field is 180 yards, what is the length of the field? Okay, so like a ratio is 11 to 9. Okay, it says if the width of the field is 180 yards. So do you see here how it says it's the length? And the length is first, so this is the length. It says length to its width, so that means that the width is 9. So then the actual dog park, it tells you that the width is 180 yards. So the 180 needs to go on the bottom, and then they ask us what is the length. So that means that we're looking for the length. We're going to put an X there. Okay, so just make sure that you guys match them up. All right, we go ahead and cross multiply. So we move the 180 up with the 11. So 11 times 180 equals, we move the 9 up with the X, so 9X. And 11 times 180 is going to give us 1,980 equals 9 times X. We divide both sides by 9. This cancels. 220 equals X. That's it. Okay, moving on to the next one. It says here, a scale drawing is a drawing of an object that is smaller or larger than the object's actual size. The drawing scale is a ratio of any length in the drawing to the actual length in the object. Okay, so here it tells you the scale for the diagram of the doghouse is 1 inch to 3 feet. So 1 inch to 3 feet. On the top is going to be the inches. On the bottom it is going to be the feet. Okay. Then they say find the length of the actual doghouse. So the actual doghouse is not going to be this tiny little thing. The actual doghouse is going to be the feet. So it's going to be the X. Okay, if we look here on the little diagram, they tell us that the inches here is going to be 0.75. Okay, so we go ahead and move this X up. So it'll be 1X. We move the 3 times the 0.75. And that gives us 3 times 0.75 is 200. So X equals, okay, I didn't put that right, 3 times 0.75. Point 2.25. And this is feet. That's it. Okay, the next one says an artist makes a scale drawing of a new lion enclosure. The scale is 1 inch to 25. So 1 over 25. I'm going to label it so I make sure I match it correctly. The top is inches and the bottom is feet. Okay. Then it says on the drawing, the length of the enclosure is 7¼ inches. So this is 7. I don't write it as a quarter. I write it as 7.25. Okay. That's the same thing as a quarter. Then it says what is the actual length of the lion enclosure? So we're looking for the feet. So we go ahead and put the X there, and we cross multiply. So we move the X up with the 1, and then we move the 25 up with the 7.25. So when I multiply 7.25 times 25, that gives us X equals 181.25, and the actual line enclosure is in feet. Okay. A ratio can involve more than 2 numbers like the following example. So it says the ratio of the side lengths of a triangle is 2 to 4 to 5, and the perimeter is 88 centimeters. Find the lengths of the sides of the triangle. Okay, so it does tell you that the perimeter is 88. So we know when we find the perimeter of the triangle, we add up all the sides. So we have 3 sides of our triangle, we add them all up. Okay, whatever they are. In this case, they say it's in a ratio of 2 to 4 to 5. So we're going to write 2x plus 4x plus 5x, okay? And we're going to figure out what x is. Now, they do tell us that the perimeter is 88. So instead of p, we're going to write in 88. Now, we're going to combine our like terms. So 2x plus 4x plus 5x gives us 11x. We divide by 11. And we get x equals 8. Okay, then from there, our units are centimeters. Oh wait, sorry, not yet. So then from there, we go ahead and plug it in. So the first side, if we plug in 2 times 8, that's going to give us 16. 4 times 8, 32. 5 times 8 is 40. So these are sides of our triangle. It's 16 centimeters, 32 centimeters, and 40 centimeters. Okay, looking at the next one, it says the ratio of the angle measures in a triangle are 7 to 13 to 60. Find the measures of the angle. So this time we're talking about the angle measures. So we have 7x plus 13x plus 16x. And so because we're talking about the angles, the three angles in a triangle will always add up to an 80. So we add these up, 7 plus 13 plus 16. That gives us 36x equals 180. We go ahead and divide both sides by 36. And we get x equals 180 divided by 36 is going to give us 5. Okay. So then they want us to find the angle measures. We go ahead and plug it in. So 7 times 5 gives us 35. That's going to be the first angle. Then we have 13 times 5. That's 65. That's the other angle. And then we have 16 times 5. That gives us 80. And that is the third angle. So the three angles of our triangles are 35, 65, and 80. The last one, it says the ratio of the side lengths in a rectangle is 8 to 5 to 8 to 5. The area of the rectangle is 640 meters. So remember, when we have area, we have to take the length and multiply it times the width. Okay. Now we know that the area is 640. We don't know the length and the width, but we do know that it is 8x times 5x, because it's 8 to 5, 8 to 5. Okay, so we're multiplying because we're looking for area. So 8 times 5 gives us 40, x times x gives us x squared. So we go ahead and divide this by 40. So 640 divided by 40, 40 divided by 40 gives us 16. So we get 16 equals, this cancels, it equals x squared. We take the square root to solve for x, and we get x is equal to 4. So then when we plug this in, 8 times x, so 8 times 4 is 32, so one of the sides is 32, and then 5 times 4 is 40. And not 40, 20. 5 times 4 is 20. And that's it. Thank you guys. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.